Shalom Aleichem to everybody. It is exactly 5 o'clock for a change. And we're doing Maimed. Yesterday we started a Maimed at 7 o'clock. Vihishalachti b'soichechem. I plan to finish this Maimed today. Assuming I do, so tomorrow at 7, tomorrow at 5 is a Pasha class, so tomorrow at 7, we will do B'Shoshe Gdimu, the next Maimed from Tafshan Lamed Ches, which is a relatively short Maimed. Now, yesterday we learned 6 pages of a Maimed. The question of the Maimed was two questions that we learned. Number one, it already says in the Chumash, V'shachanti b'soicham, also the Mikdash V'shachanti b'soicham, Hashem is going to dwell amongst us. What's the Chiddush of Vihishalachti? I will walk amongst you. And of course, the second question is, why does it say Vihishalachti is also a Lashon Rabim? Many different types of walkings. What does that refer to? So, of course, the Rebbe answers that the V'shachanti b'soicham is based on us building him a Beis HaMikdash, serving him. And Vihishalachti is based on us becoming a Mahalach, being in motion. And of course, the Rebbe explains that the meaning of Mahalach is B'limud Yidav Agbal, infinite, no limits. Because if we're serving Hashem in a limited way, even if we're growing, it's still considered a midah. And then the Rebbe said, there's also a meaning of Hiluch, where the Eibishter gives us back reciprocally something which is completely beyond any limitations, and he connects it to the idea of Oisim Ritzayna Shel Makom. Oisim Ritzayna Shel Makom means we create a will in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, or B'chol Moedecha, which is connected to the first parasha of Kirishma. We create a will in Atzmos Samhus to return to us in a way of Halicha. Then when it came to the Beis Mini Halicha, here the Rebbe did it backwards. First he explained what is Lamaila, and then he explained what is in Avodah. That the Beis Mini Halicha Lamaila is first of all Hashem gives us. And second of all, since the Kavanah was Diri B'Tachteinim, the second half of Halicha is after the Eibush, the Shechina rests in this world in Eifin of Ikir Shechina, the Lakus is also in the higher worlds as a consequence of being in the lowest worlds. And that's the two halichas from the Eibush Kveach. And the two halichas by a person are Tefillah and Teira. That's what we learned yesterday. It didn't take very long at all. And it represents a lot of pages. Yeah, I saw a lot of pages. I just want to repeat one point with a little bit more emphasis, and then we're going to learn. And as I told you yesterday, what we're going to do is we're going to learn a question and an answer. I'm going to learn 2 questions now, questions 3 and 4, Gimel and Daled on page Shin Hey. Then we're going to answer these 2 questions. Then with Hashem's help, we're going to do question Hey, and then we'll answer that question, and then we'll do question Vav. I'm planning to, it's not hard, it's long, but it's not a difficult moment. The one thing I want to repeat is that when the Rebbe talks about Vihishalachti, he says that it's a Serusa D'Lielu Mitzadatzma. Right? The expression is Vihishalachti Me'atzmi. I'm going to walk unilaterally on my own. And of course, here you have to understand, you have to emphasize, you have to underscore the duality in this. On the one hand, it's Isrusa D'Lielu, it's coming from on high. On the other hand, it's not coming from on high for free, because what comes from on high for free is valueless. Like it says in Gemara, Asya, the Mogin, B'Mogin, Mogin Asya. Right? It says in Zayar, Chinam in Amitzvahs, Chinam is in Klippah. Therefore, the meaning of Me'atzmei doesn't mean that it's for free. It just means that it's above anything we could earn. It's above Esirusat Latata, Esirusat L'Yela. It's even above Esirusat L'Yela, which is after Esirusat Latata, because it's Atzmos. But at the same time, Kochabrichu L'Shari Ella B'Asar Shlim, and therefore even what Hashem gives us, which is called unilateral, because there's no way for us to be prepared for it, we earn, so to speak. Okay? I just wanted to repeat that Nakuda. When Hashem gives us His essence, even though nobody deserves it, there's a pnimius to it. There's a permanence to it. So we explained the meaning of Vihishalachti b'seichechem as opposed to V'shachanti b'seichem. And we explained Vihishalachti beis min yaliches kama bechinas aliches. What are the next 2 questions? So we're going to page Shin Hey, and we're going to begin 9 lines on top of the page where I made the number 4. Gam tzarich lahavan, the question is also Mahu hachidish What is the point? And the Chiddush to say, Yad Pashas B'chukei Sai with the Abe is just talking about the idea of Im B'chukei Sai Telecha B'nis Mati Yishmecha B'Itam, the Bani Yid serves Hashem, the Abe gives him a certain schar. What's the Chiddush in saying, V'yitzel Lechem L'Lakim, that God Almighty says, I'm going to be your Lakim, your God. Now, of course, I want to just point out that the minute you say V'yitzel Lechem L'Lakim, you have to translate the word as Elokeinu. Like it's indicative bekitzer in Perik Mem Zayin in Tanya, and it's explained in so many Memarim Bariches. There's a very big difference between the word Elokeinu and the word Elokim, or Elokim and Elokeinu. Elokim is Begematria Pevov, which is Hateva. It's the God of concealment. Elokeinu is Kachenu V'chayesenu, which means our personal God. So in a real way, Elokim and Elokeinu are opposites. Elokim conjures up the concealment of Elokus, and Elokeinu conjures up the personalization of Elokus. V'hayisi lochem le'lekim means Elokeinu. I'm going to be your personal God. Connotes Elokeinu, unser Gott. Still, the Rebbe's kasha is, why does this have to be said in the context of Im B'chukei Sai Telechu? It's the old news. Itself understood. Why does it have to be associated specifically with what's going to happen to us at Lavi? Sharei emphasis bisman matan teira b'chei yeshiva in time. We got the teira. The Rebbe gave us the teira, and we received it in the month of Sivan. Charles Nemer Anecha Vaya Elikecha. I am God, your God, and the meaning of your God is the personalization of Elikim. Hine ki man shadibur ish elakadosh baruch hu in Yishamayis. Hashem's word is good as a deed. Nasa d'Shem Elikecha. God Almighty becomes our personal God, your personal God. Keichacha v'chayesecha l'gitas nishol norach. Your strength and your vibrancy, your life, your vitality. Says the Rebbe that when it says that Hashem says, I will be your God, I will be your God, that's not a Lakim, it's a Lakeinu. But it's in the eternal way. So the Kasha is a poshet there. Why, when the Abish is talking about Schar and the Din of Schar as it's connected to the Yasad Lavi, do you mention something which has been true for thousands of years? This pasuk seems to say a novelty. Vihishalachti when a Yid serves Hashem on a level of halicha, which is b'chol meidecha. He's zoicha that there should be a hilach when Ma'ala Lamata David should give him back also from Atzmos. Why in that context do you have to say Hine mizeh bo gam hateitzah? The effect of this is v'hamshach, and what follows this is vayisi lachem lelakim. The Eibush has sagt, ich will sein ayer Gott, ich will sein unser God. The Eibush is going to be our God. L'chaira, the idea that the Eibush is our God happened a long time ago, and without Vihishalachti b'seichem, v'shachante b'techem is enough. The next question is also in the same spirit. What's the novelty? You're going to be my nation. Hashem says, I'm going to be your God and you're going to be my nation. When the Eibush gave us the Teda, he already said in Pashas Yisrei, and of course this week is Shavuos, so this is all very fresh. Moreover, today is Monday, Beis Sivan Yom Yuchas. This Pasha was said today, in the year 2448. Im Shameat Dishma Bakeli, if you're going to listen to my voice. V'yisam Lisa Gul, you're going to be my oitzer chav of my precious treasure, Mikol Am from all nations. V'ad leif, and moreover, we're going to be Atam Tilim Lechas Kain in the gate Kodesh, a nation, a kingdom of priests and a holy people. So before the Eibush gave us the Torah, already established the lofty level of the Jewish people. V'kiv Anshoisa Amiras Nase V'nishma. When the Eibush made this offer of Atam Tirli Yom, Mamlechas Kainim V'Gei Kodesh, Hayisam Li Segula, we said Nasa V'Nishma. Nor over Magdamas Nasa V'Nishma Shamei Tishmu. First we said Nasa, then we said Nishma. Kvad Nifalinian Zetiel Adalam Yalam is already established that we're Eibish's people. So there's two questions. We're talking about Schar Liyosid, and we say the Schar of the Yosid involves Hashem is going to be our God, and the Schar Liyosid involves we're going to be His nation. Both of these things are ancient. What's the chiddush when it comes to these two ideas? Ani Hashem Elokechem, the Eibush is going to be our God, and the second idea, Atam Tiyu Lilu Am, He's going to be our nation, because of the Vihishalachti b'seichem. And we move to the answers, which is way ahead on page Shin Yud Beis. Okay, let's read it inside. Sif Zion. Omnam. We already established that the idea that the Eibishter walks amongst us is called an arousal from above, which has nothing to do with any kind of preparation. Which has nothing to do with any arousal from above, which is affected directly or even indirectly by an arousal from below. So what is the pshat? Vihishalachti b'teichem. Nevertheless, Hashem has to become our God. Meaning, first of all, means becomes our energy and becomes our life, which is what he said in the beginning of the Maimon. That Vayis means that the Eibishter becomes personal to the Jewish people. And the way this is achieved is this revelation happens. On the level of Elikim, it's only a sheath and a shield. In other words, because whereas, in as much as the Jewish people come with Atzmas and Saint Sav Baruch, the Eibishter going to be zeicha that Hashem is going to speak the word Kaddish about the tzaddikim. There's two Gemaras, one after the next, in Bava Basra, that we're going to call by Shmei Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We say this in the back of the Mein Alosh. What are these two allusions reference to? The idea that Yidden are called Kaddish and Yidden are called Avaya. No. If a Yidden are called Kaddish and Yidden are called Avaya, what's the Vihishalachti L'Kim? So the Rebbe says Vihishalachti L'Kim means, number one, the personalization of God for the Jewish people. Number two, the revelation of this personalized God to the Jewish people. Number three, this personalization of God, which is personal to the Jewish people, is only a L'Kim, and Avaya is higher than it. So the kasha was, what's the link, what's the connection between Vihishalachti b'seichem aniyah d'Shem Elokechem and the Teres is? Because when the Eibishter walks amongst us, Anivya Elokechem means that the highest madregas of Gilui Elokus are only in the madrega of Shem Elokim, and we get something which is even higher than that, which is the madrega of Shem Avaya, as it's going to be then at that time. So that's the Teres Terekash. Means that Liyasad Lavi, the highest Giloyim are going to be a Lakum, and only Atmas is going to be Havaya. What about the other question? How do you explain that? Moreover, it says in the Pasuk, the Jewish people are going to be Hashem's nation. And the argument is, have we not been his nation for thousands of years? What's the emphasis all of a sudden to call him Hashem's nation? For Indian who, and the Rebbe answers, when you the idea is this, normally when you say the word Am, which means a people, all of them at regarding the word Am, it says that there's no king without a nation. Normally the word in the context of a king means weak. In other words, that the subjects of the king are separate, foreign, and remote in relationship with the king, because the king is so much greater than them. Ein melech b'le'am doesn't only mean that a king needs a nation of people who are in the leg of emes. However, the opposite meaning of the word am is shem eloshen ime, shem yachadim, they're with him. Zusammen mit him, kedua hamashal, like the marshal gold, shalei shayach inyan melucha al inyanim shem shalei b'yerken. You can't be a king even over 1,000,000 penguins. V'hainu, this means to say, she'amnon tzarech li is a hergesh de gacholim eimemes. There has to be a feeling of being far from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is a inyan shel Kabbalah Sel, which is the concept of Kabbalah Sel, but yachad at the same time, tzarech li is gam a hergesh, we have to also feel she'mitzayim ite imu, we're found together with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, yachad imu, together with him, ba'al derech ba'ercha nir'eh, like the day of ba'ercha nir'eh. So la'asad lavi, Hashem is called the Lakim, to say that a Lakim is going to be revealed, and that we're going to have an even higher Havaya. And we're going to be his Am doesn't mean we're going to be far from him. It means we're going to be Imu, we're going to be very, very close to him. Right? That's it. Now, I'm going to stand up because I'm characteristically falling asleep. So forgive me. You can still see me. The cameras are bissala crooked, as they say, and you're seeing a part of my office where I can't say that I cleaned up every sefer, but I'm going to be doing the standing up, okay? Okay, that's the best I can do. So what did we just do, Rabbi Say? What did we just do? Yesterday, we answered the two questions of Vihishalachti b'seichem versus Vihishalachti b'soichem. And then, of course, also the question of Hilach Lashai Rabim. And today we answered another two questions. Why Eliyasad Lavi are going to consider it a Maila, that Aniyah Deshem Elekechem, that the Eibush is our God, and V'yisem Lili Am, we're going to be His people. And the Rebbe explains both. That La'asad Lavi, there's going to be a higher Havaya, because the Havaya of now is going to be a Lekim. And we're going to be Am. Am doesn't mean far away. Am means very close. And he finishes with the words, like the idea that with the light of Hashem we see a higher light. Similarly, through the Avodah of Yecholim Oyemos, by serving Hashem in a way of Kabbalah Seu, we come to be Yachad Imo, to become close to being close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we answered the first 4 of the 6 questions in the Maimer. Now go back to Shinhei. Let's ask the 5th question. Second line from the bottom of page Shinhei. Gam Tzarech Lavin. 1 more question. 2 more questions, but this is one of them. That it says in Pachas B'Chokesei Mashikosav Aniyah Deshem Elokecha, I am God, your God, that I took you out of the land of Egypt. Now, remember, what's Pachas B'Chokesei discussing? It's Gabul. You'll be good, I'll give you good. You'll serve me and I'll reward you. So if the Torah is speaking about Hashem rewarding us, it l'chayre should be discussing ideas that are linked to reward. You would think, right? Huh? But as it turns out, we don't only mention things that have to do with reward. We also mention things that have to do with history. For example, Yitzias Mitzrayim. Ani Hashem Elokecha, I am God, your God, asher etzi escha me'eretz Mitzrayim, that I took you out of the land of Egypt. And the Rebbe says, what is this? How does Yitzias Mitzrayim come into Schar? The L'cheira. The Pashas are in this pasuk, the Pashtas. Bo, the pasuk, Zeh page Shin Vav now comes in this pasuk. Behem Shech Mashakosa B'tchilas HaPasha. It follows the earlier psukim in the Pash. That say, Shekasha B'Hokei, Saite Leicha, when a Yid learns Teira B'ez Mitzvah, Saite Shmeir and Yid and do mitzvahs that like it says Chassidus. On a level of Chakik Ravasi, amazing they do the Maza Yihi Yukala Bracha Samanu Yechlacha, they all the brachas that follow. Koilul Gama Bracha, including the incredible Bracha Vihishalachti B'Seichem, they wish to walks amongst us the avoid of Hiloch. And Mumata Lamaylo Mato says the Rebbe, and of course this includes also, I'm going to be your God and you're going to be my nation. Mashayich Khan, why in a case? In a circumstance, we're speaking such incredible milas. That the Eibush is going to give the Jewish people, you mentioned something elementary. I'm your God, took the land of Egypt. First of all, it happened a long time ago. It's like, what's in the past? Yitzias Mitzrayim was. So Yitzias Mitzrayim was, why would you include a reference to Yitzias Mitzrayim in the context of Schar? Schar means something additional. Good cash. And again, the answer is on page Shin Yud Beis. Perek Ches. Okay, and the answer is very simple and very interesting. Okay, the next two inyonim, Perek Ches and Perek Tes, and the answers are fascinating because they bring out, so to speak, almost a Mailin goes. Here's the answer to the question of why, when we're talking about Schad, we mention the Nin of Yitzias Mitzrayim. Because the pasuk continues, I am God, your God. That I took you out of the land of Egypt. And the kasha was l'cha'eda, that's in the past. We already went out of Mitzrayim. And now we're talking about subsequent schar. Why mention Yitzias Mitzrayim? It seems a throwback. By mentioning Yitzias Mitzrayim, you're explaining something very, very important. And what is that? How can a human being, a Yid, affect and reach Yahweh does it through his own efforts, to be in a madrega of alicha. And as we discussed yesterday, alicha means b'shalei be'erech, on a level of a sidus nefesh, afa pi shezehu inyan, even though the level of alicha is an idea of basarusa d'liel and arousal from above, shenik shuru klal im esarusa l'tata, which is altogether removed from our arousal. So the kasha is a poshet. V'salachti only zeiche. But being a mahalech seems impossible. And what's the teretz Yitzias Mitzrayim? So the Rebbe answers, the Teretz has to explain that just like Yidden left Mitzrayim unilaterally because the Eibishter wanted to, if the Eibishter wishes, will be in the Madrega of Mahalech. So if the reason is the Eibishter wanted, he could do things unilaterally as well. Shagam Sham, even in Mitzrayim, Shaho Yazeb Evan Shalasaru, so the Lel was aroused from above Shainik Shura Imesru, Letata, which is not all connected to our own efforts and our own work. Shaybnei Yisrael Ho, you was remember the Matodat Edom, the Jewish people were in a state of Edom, Ve'eria, Edom means naked, and Eria means bare, no mitzvahs. And the only source they had was Nigalei Malch Macham Macham HaKadosh Baruch Hu B'Chez B'Atzma. Hashem did all the work, it took us out of Mitzrayim, skipped the bracket, to Golam when he redeemed us. And like it says in Chassidus, the whole, and Yitzhak Mitzrayim is considered unilateral goodness from Hashem to the world, from the top to the bottom. By days and through this great divine revelation, Yotzu Meyeret Mitzrayim, we departed from Egypt. And the way it's explained in Chassidus. What does Yotzu Meyeret Mitzrayim mean? We didn't just leave the physical geography of Mitzrayim, we left the spirituality of Mitzrayim and all subsequent Mitzarim Magvul. Even the finest level of narrowness and limitation, Yetzias Mitzrayim redeemed us from them all. Mitzarim Magvul, the Kedusha, even the way narrowness and limit exist in Kedusha. Even the limitations and the parameters of the world higher than Atzilus, they're called elements. And therefore Yetzias Mitzrayim is a message. The message of Yetzias Mitzrayim is, if Hashem wants, He can take us out of Egypt unilaterally. Similarly, if the Eibishter wants, a Yid could reach the Madreg of Hilul all by himself. Or Klalos, the idea is as follows. The Shem Shemitzina ben Gela Matan Teira. Just like regarding the Teira, it's written, Sheyirak Pa'amachas V'Yechida, Shehayirak Pa'amachas V'Yechida, the Matan Teira happened only once. And even after Mashiach comes, there's no new Matan Teira. It's rather only that Pasach HaZaderech, that Matan Teira begins the pathway. L'limu teras l'sham Mashiach, to the Teira of Mashiach himself. Oleh ne'emet Teira Chadash, which he takes the Teira of Mashiach is his new. Says the Rabbi Nekeinu, Gam b'negel Avodas Adam. Just like Hashem gave the Teira, and it includes everything, the same to Avodas Hashem. Because Hashem is in this world, becomes possible for a Yid. How could a Yid affect the Dira B'Tachteinim? The answer is Hashem gave him a koyach. Just like Yetzias Mitzrayim, Hashem gave a koyach. Dira B'Tachteinim, Hashem gives a koyach. Now, when it comes to the question of how a Yid can be walking koyach with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shasi, but the chozet shechel magil is able to reach it because the Eibush is initiating. Hashem is our God. The Sharitesi has come here to take the land of Egypt. We can move on. Gami hamavor Tanya, like it says in Tanya in Perik Mavav and Perik Mem Zayin. Shayaveda the Kriya Shema, the work of Kriya Shema, Kshur is connected in Masha Kosabasi and Pasha Shlishis with the end of the Pasha, which speaks about Yetzias Mitzrayim. Of course, we all know this from Chassidus. That freedom means that we can do whatever we need to, whatever the Eibush empowers us to do, and there's no greater freedom than the freedom to do what the Eibishter says, especially in a case like this. So we answered the questions. We answered why it says V'yitzil lechem l'elikim. We answered why it says V'yitzil lechem V'yitzil v'atem tiyo li liyom. And we mentioned Ani Hashem Elokechem Asher Yitzei Eschem Eretz Mitzrayim, just like when Hashem took us out of Egypt, it all happened from the top down, and we did it. Similarly, when it's going to happen, Kvayachol, through our work, we're going to be able to reach all the way till the Madrega of Vihishalachti. Okay, I have to pause. I'm sorry. I'll be back. Okay, I'm sorry, people. Let's see if I can stay awake. I'm falling asleep on you, which is bad. So far, let's see if we can sit down, huh? Try. See what happens. So far, we had 3 questions and 3 answers today, in addition, of course, to the 2 questions and 2 answers from yesterday. We explained Ani Hashem Elokeichem. We explained Vayisam Atam Tioli Liyam. And we also explained Yitzias Mitzrayim. The message of Yitzias Mitzrayim is what we call unilateralism, right? That Hashem does everything. And in this case, Hashem gives a koyach that we should be able to reach these madregas. Because the kash is, how can a human being reach a madrega of Mahalach? And the teretz is, if the Eibishter took Yidden, who were Memtes Shari Tuma, and he unilaterally took us out of Egypt, similarly, Hashem can give, if the Eibishter wants, Hashem could give a koyach for Vihishalachti b'seichechem. That's the word, okay? Now, what's the last kasha, the Maimer? And this is already on page Shinvov at the top. Okay, let's read it. I'm reading the question and we're going to do the answer. Gam tzarich lov, and the last question is, Masha kosav eilech eschem kememias. That I'm going to walk you upright, upstanding. And now the Rebbe observes, it's not stam, what does it mean for eschem kememias, but context. Look. Excuse me. Says the Rebbe, ki von shemesayim bebracha zu, since this is the last bracha. For the Cheskom Kememias movement, it's indicative. Shezuhu yabracha chi el yena. If the final bracha is v'eile Cheskom Kememias, it has to also be the greatest bracha. In addition to all the ideas mentioned before, which are Satagishmechem be'itam, v'nas naras yevula, v'yitzchem da'ishes batzir, v'estach, and then it says, v'shteid v'ayter, v'rathu v'kem chamisha meyo avav, and all these other things, ufanisi aleichem, v'hirbesi eschem, and so on, and it finishes v'eile chesem chamamiyas. Ti yebracha yeseirim, is the final bracha is going to be the greatest. Until the highest kind of bracha, that I'm going to lead you to walk upright. The question is, considering the brachas that we got before, including the bracha of Vihishalachti that Hashem is going to walk amongst us in Beizei Fanei Alicha, as a response to our Beizei Fanei Alicha. What additional ideas added in the bracha of Eilech Eschem Kememias? What could possibly be added? And I just want to clarify, or just want to point out, what was the last kasha and teretz? The last kasha and teretz is, why do you mention Yitzias Mitzrayim? And the teretz is, just like Yitzias Mitzrayim is a koyach that the Eibishter could unilaterally bring into the world, similarly, the koyach to reach Dira B'Tachtainim, the koyach to reach Vihishalachti b'seichechem, if the Eibishter wants, it could be, right? This is the teretz to why it mentioned Yitzias Mitzrayim. So this teretz is not the same, but it's also in a certain aspect it's similar. I'll tell you what I was going to say. That v'oilach eschem kememius means that even the avedas that we did and the mistakes that we made all serve to bring to the v'oilach eschem kememius, and that's this bracha. The bracha is that we should know that the things that we did that were not good are not an end in themselves. They're going to bring us to the inyan of Eilech Eschem Kememias. Let's read it. And it went all the way back to page Shin Yud Gimel, Sif Tes. After the Torah already tells us the idea of Yitzias Mitzrayim, which means that if the Eibishter will, if Hashem wants, a unilateral bracha kvayachol could work. Even for the idea of this halachti b'seichechem, and then it finishes ve'elech eschem kememias, that you're going to walk standing upright. Shinyan zekosher, the idea of ve'elech eschem kememias is connected with tachlis hakavon, or the ultimate end. Of lasas leis barach diri b'tachtainim, to make from this world home for HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the lowest realms. Shagam bazatiyah tachas hashleimus, that ve'elech eschem kememias has to do with diri b'tachtainim b'tachas hashleimus. What does ve'elech eschem kememias have to do with diri b'tachtainim b'tachas hashleimus? So he brings the Gemara. Alakosov on these words, Ve'elechaschem Kememius, Shesh Beis Days, the Pirush Kememius. There's two opinions about what Kememius means. It looks like it's a Teres Kena, but you have it also in the Gemara of Basra. I didn't look the Gemara up. Deya Aleph, Meya Amma. The first opinion of the Kememius means 100 Amas. Can I get Kemes Adam Rishon, which is the height of Adam Rishon? And Deya Beis Masaya Mama. The second opinion is 200 Amas Kishtei Kemes. Shel Adam Rishon, twice the height of Adam Rishon. But this is a Gavaldik Akash. When the Chazal bring that there's two opinions about Kememius, the Chazal explained the 2 days. That before Chet Eitz Hadas, Adam Rishon is an Inyan of Beis Kemes, and after Eitz Hadas, Adam Rishon is an Inyan of Kema Achas. Hare, Ha'in the Kemes Adam Rishon Meya Amma. The idea that Adam Rishon is, quote, only 100 amas tall as a result of the Chet Eitz Hadas. Nasa La'acharei Chet happened after the first initial Aveda of eating from the Eitz Hadas Tevara. The question is, Ma'alach Hashivas being the Kememius, what's the advantage of a Mashiach comes again and walking Kememius, particularly if you go in the day that it means Kema Achas, Shul Behesem Lekemes Adam Rishon Meya Amma, according to the opinion of Kema Achas that the Kememius means 100 amas. This has to do with the Chet. So the Rebbe's spin on Ve'elech Eschem Kememius means I'm going to lead you Kememius as it has a shaykhs to Aveda. He could say the other day, Beis Kemes, which is before Chet. He says no. Ve'elech Eschem Kememius means both days, including the day of 100 Amma, which has to do with the Chet. And the Rebbe says, why would you want to mention in the bracha of Ve'elech Eschem Kememius the idea of Chet? The Rebbe answers that the Chet is an opportunity. The concept of a sin is through a sin there's additional Yerida. And of course, when you have additional Yerida, you have to have additional Aliyah. Ma'al Tshuva, which is higher than Tzaddik. Of course, everything that is created is already a Yerida. Because the very descent of the soul into a body, from the tallest mountain, labira, to the deepest pit. It's already a Gavaldik Yerida. Kimavua begins that Tshuva Prati Advarim in the Tanya. In addition to that Yerida, there is the Yerida of Chet, and the Yerida of Chet is discussed in the Gersa Tshuva, right? The Yerida of Chet, and of course, in the Gersa Tshuva, he discusses the difference between a Chet you do Bezman HaBayis and a Chet you do Bezman HaGolus. And the Chet Bezman HaBayis is harder to correct than a Chet Bezman HaGolus. Ve'ein kan ha'mokum l'harachos. So, there's the Chet of the Neshama coming into this world. There's the Chet of Yidden doing Avedis, which is an additional Yerida. And we connect Kememius to this. Why? The answer is 5 lines from the bottom of page Shin Yud Gimel Lachal Zeh. The pasuk says, Neir Aliyah Ne'adam, that the Eibush that imposes libel on the Jewish people using noir, using awe. Meaning to say, Hashem sets us up that we should do an Aveda, so we should be able to do tshuva. Now we can start pilpulling about the negate of free will. But this is brought, of course, from the Mittler Rebbe. The Rebbe mentioned it many times, that it says in Chassidus that some Avedas have to happen. Whether there is free will, there isn't free will, they have to happen. And that's the touch. As the Mittler Rebbe explains that this idea of Neira Lila Ben Yodam Shakavana Bezed, the point is, because it causes the Eibush the greater Nachas Ruach. Which is one of the explanations by Moshe Hamelach. It's one of the ideas of making Kniga. Kniga literally means gladiators, a fight. Now, what kind of pleasure would you have if the Eibush did from gladiators? And of course, the word is tshuva. Gladiator doesn't mean literally people killing each other. It means that they are fighting with the Yetzer Hara and even being defeated by the Yetzer Hara. The ultimate pleasure of the Eibush, which is even greater than any pleasure until now, which comes dafke from tshuva after Avedis. The kivan shamalach b'shleim is certainly the king is perfect. He certainly experienced pleasure before then. And if you say you come along to this melech and you do entertainment for him, it's an additional nachas ruach. The same is true by the Eibishter. Shay lifnei brias ha'olam, page in Yudal at the top before the Eibishter created the world. Ho yakvar atainug, there's no question that the idea of pleasure existed by the Eibishter as represented by the Torah. Like it says in the pasuk vayas leishashum yem yem. The koya b'ayim shonim shekol b'Torah. The Eibush has time before the Eibishter created the world. But that's not enough. He creates a Yerida, and Choshech, Kafel, Umechupel, Tzedek Aliyah. Nevertheless, the Eibishter creates a world, brings the neshama into the goof, which is already a name for Yidid. And then there's an Inyan from Chet Etzadas, which is a second name for Yidid. And then there's an Inyan from Golos, which is a third name for Yidid, and on and on. Why? Nase nachas through a Godel Yesesh Alei B'Yerech. The Eibishter has an even higher pleasure. Ubemele, when the Torah says, the final brach, says the Rebbe, don't think Kememius means the Eibishter is going to bring us to the highest madrega of Avedas HaTzadikim. No. It means the Eibishter is going to bring us to the highest madrega of Avedas Balei Tshuva. If Kememius means base Kemes, it's Tzadikim. But since we say Ve'elech Asem Kememius means both opinions, the opinion that Kememius means Kema Achas, and the opinion that Kememius means base Kemes, and the opinion that says that Kema Achas has to do with Aveda, why is that the greatest bracha? Because of the principle of Yerida Tzedek Alira. Look how the Rebbe now explains this. Umizeh moving 4 lines into page Shin Yudal. This is the kind of shtickle by me. I have chavedim who live from such things, both as people and as mashpiyim. But listen carefully to these words. She'ein lahachshev es inyan hachet liyirida amitas chas v'shalom. Never construe a sin as a true yerida. Ela adanah, but the only reason why there is sin is the yerida tzedek aliyah. The descent is for the sake of an ascent, even though there's free will involved. And we all know, Pilul Pasha used to say, you're always better off not sinning than sinning and doing tshuva. Because if you sinned and you did tshuva, the sin was zicher metanemis. And whether the tshuva was metanemis dafman kleren, the Rebbe says no. A yid doesn't aveda, even if he did aveda b'chira chofshes. Allah has come of a kam, of neida alila. It's because the Eibishter wants tshuva, and that's the only reason he created the possibility for aveda, and that's the only reason Eibishter created the reality of aveda. So every aveda should be construed post facto, after the fact. Chas v'sham. This doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. But if chas v'shalom and is durgefallen, we made a mistake and we fell through, we have to know about the inyan Yerida Tzedek Aliyah. It's not Yerida Amitis, it's Yerida Tzedek Aliyah. And let's talk about this for a minute. Kaidem called that this is a Gemara B'Fareshes. The Gemara says there's 2 of Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Yeshua, and one of them is before Mashiach comes, the Eibishter is going to make Yidden do tshuva, right? And the Rambam brings it. But the Rambam writes as he ifticha Torah. The Torah guarantees that Rabbi Paltiel b'seiv galus and eis in tshuva. The end of Galus, you didn't do tshuva, miyad heine gal, and then the gula comes immediately. And of course, this plays itself out in our generations. Now, the Rebbe is not saying this. I'm saying that this is what the Rebbe means, but who knows? We live in a tshuva generation. When you talk about this Gemara, that Yid Nebuch became estranged, and to do tshuva, look at this. Most of the Jewish people in the world today are not frum. And they strongly identify as Jews. It's not like in the olden days, if a person wasn't religious, he didn't identify with a Jew. They identify as Jews. We are the tshuva generation. After all of the tzaras, the Bolsheviks and the Holocaust and what came before it, we're the tshuva generation. Why? The Eibishter wants tshuva. Not chas v'shalom, he wants avedus, but he wants tshuva, because tshuva is the biggest maila. And I saw in a maimah, we learned it in the base medrash and Nashim Abanas classes. The Rebbe says, how come some generations people don't do any Avedas, and other generations people seem to do Avedas? And the Rebbe says, because some generations the Eibishter chooses to test, and other generations the Eibishter chooses not to test. When the Eibishter gives a test, and Chas v'shalom a person is nichshal and he falls through, says the Rebbe, you should know there's only one reason for this: tshuva. So the Rebbe Siche, the Rebbe Siche in Chelik Yudzayin, I learn this every year Yom Kippur, the Rebbe Siche, where he speaks about tshuva, he brings the idea of Zeynus Naslik Isochis. It's the highest madreg of Hechsher Mitzvah. It's a very lomdish asicha. It's based on a Gemara. It's not based on the Rambam, if I'm not mistaken. The highest madreg of Hechsher Mitzvah is the Aveda, because the Aveda itself becomes a mitzvah. That's why the Eibishter created Avedas. And the Torah says the greatest bracha Yidden could get for Torah and mitzvahs is ve'elech eschem kememiyas. Not stand that Yidden are going to walk upright. Ve'elech eschem kememiyas, Yidden are going to walk upright as baile tshuva. Because the Eibishter wants mailas tshuva. The kavon of the world is tshuva. I'm sure you know there's so many different. It says Mekutei Torah. The Eibishter created the world for tshuva. The famous sikha from the Rebbe about how come the Rambam writes that the halachas of free will in conjunction with tshuva. Because no place does the person express free will as when he's doing tshuva. And this, of course, explains also the Alter Rebbe in Tanya. It's the same sicha that the Mashiach comes because we do in Zman HaGolus. So the Rebbe has a kasha. It says, Mashiach comes because we do in Zman HaGolus. What about we did Zman HaBayis? So the Rebbe says Zman HaGolus is tshuva. And the Rikirina Mashiach is tshuva. So the Rebbe says, don't see an Aveda as Yerida, see Yerida Amita, see the Aveda as Yerida Tzerech Aliyah, and that's the Pshat and the Bracha. Let's read on. V'adam 5 lines in the top of page in Yadal to the extent Shabamokam Shabali Tshuva aimed in the place where Bali Tshuva stand. Feel tzadikim gemurim and Yechelim Lamech on perfect tzadikim cannot stand it. And you probably know that the Lashon Gemara is, in the Gemara there's 2 opinions, which is higher, a tzaddik or a Bal Tshuva. And according to the opinion that says that a Bal Tshuva is higher than a tzaddik, the Lashon is B'mokem Shabali Tshuva aimed in the place where Bal Tshuva stands. Ein tzadikim aimed them, some tzadikim don't stand there. The Rambam has a different gears. If you look in footnote 90, you'll see that this is Rambam. B'mokem Shabali Tshuva aimed in where the Bal Tshuva stands. Ein tzadikim gemurim yochaylim la'amesh. On the tzaddik gomer cannot stand there. And that's nusach that the Rebbe just brought. Like it's explained in many of the Maimorim on these psukim. Of Vihishalachti b'seichechem ha'ilu the Bali Tshuva the Gabbai Tzadikim Gemurim how Bal Tshuva stands even higher than a perfect tzaddik, and they connected b'yachas l'chilik from Pasha D'Sheinu l'Pasha Shniya D'Kriyashma. The second Pasha of Krishma is b'chol avavachem and b'chol nafshechem. The first Pasha of Krishma is b'chol avavachem b'chol nafshecha b'chol meidecha, and apparently b'chol meidecha is the Malsa Tshuva even over tzaddik gomer. Concludes the Rebbe, and this is the Pshat, ve'elech eschem kememius. At the highest and the greatest bracha that a Yid gets for that the Eibishter walks us upright kememius. Kekemes Adam Rishon came, ma'achas shtei kemes, that we're as tall as Adam Rishon once or twice. And of course the Pshat, as tall as Adam Rishon once, is in Yinat Tshuva la'acharei achet, la'acharei achet davke, kim shadavka idaya yirida. When you have a setback which is associated with an Aveda, and you have to overcome it, Nas is Taklas Ashleim is one achieves the ultimate wholeness, perfection, and peacefulness. That's represented by the idea of Kememius. According to all different ideas which are brought in the Maimorim. Until the ultimate interpretation, this is already a different chat. That the 2 koimos is not Stam, the inyan of Bal Tshuva, which comes after Tzaddik, but Koyal Eses Sfiras Shemamata Lamaila, Eses Sfiras Shemamata Lamata, the 2 sets of 10 Sfiras, and Yasher and Erchezer, Shekolech Klulamei Eser, each one is included in 10, so 10 times 10 is 100, and 10 times 10 is another 100. I am not going to explain it. You know why? Because I don't understand it. And in this idea, you have in such a fashion, both koimos, the both 100 amas, from the top down and from the bottom up on one word. There is the motion that's from the bottom up. And there's the motion which is from the top down, which is now represented by kaimamias from the bottom up and kaimamias from the top down. There's a third idea, which is tachas hashleimus chibur shneim yachad, joining together the 2 concepts of kaimamias. Like you have v'sham samsi kat kechim sheisayach, and the Gemara is gedenu kedein fishem b'yachad. Right? There's a machlokes whether it's kishayim or kiyoshvei. This is found in Chassidus on the pasuk v'samsi. It's a place. What does the pasuk say? In Dvarim, samti kat kechim sheisayach. There's a machlokes where it's going to be like shayim or yoshvei, which means yosher and erchezer. And we learn Kedenu Keden. Kad is 24, goes Nechav Dalet Sforim. That it's both milas, and both milas together. Similarly, the 2 koimes are together. Now, Rabbi say I'm rushing over here. And the primary reason I'm rushing is because I don't have Hezbet. I didn't prepare Hezbet to explain it. Just translating and reading the words. What you need to take from this is that Kaimamios means the mila that comes after Tshuva. That's what I want us to take from this. In other words, that's the part that I'm focusing on. The greatest bracha, after all the other brachas, is Kaimamias, that we stand upright because we're in the Madrega Bal Tshuva, and the whole Aveda was to come to the Mal Tshuva. Then you go into the specifics, both together, and so on. And the Rebbe continues at the bottom of page in Yudala, moving Gamba Pasha Son. This is a very practical lesson. We find ourselves in a darkness which is doubled and redoubled. Of Ikvis, the Mashiach, of the hill of Mashiach. And then the Rebbe says, a person knows about himself. That there occasionally is some kind of deficiency, some kind of a flaw. Of course, the Rebbe doesn't want to say Chas v'Shalom and Aveda. He says, because he could have been even better than he is. Says the Rebbe, do not say God forbid. Should cause you depression or losing your spirit. I could have worked harder. I didn't work as hard as I could have. Why? Tshuva. Became a skufa. That a person has to walk proud, upright. Became a skufa, standing erect. The lead is as a to see the truth of the matter. Why did I not work yesterday as hard as I could have worked? For the sake of tshuva, of this descent for ascent. You can do tshuva. And of course it says in Zayat that tshuva can be done in an instant. In other words, it's l'mayla min hazman. The word shaita means one redirection. We're able to influence the transformation of darkness to light and bitterness to sweetness. And of course, the Seder is, first of all, first you have to bend yourself. Because if a person is at the very beginning of the service, first you have to bend. According to his own level. One thing is sure. The promises no Jew was lost. And of course, you see in footnote 9, then there's the pasuk in Shmuel. And no spark is lost. Since he is a plant of the Eibush, which the Eibush oversees and watches. Which Eibush is proud of and he boasts. The idea of that Hashem is proud of the Jewish people is said about each one of us. Certainly a community. Says the Rebbe, the message of Kemamiyos is that you shouldn't get down from a Chet Lashon Chasad or even from an Aveda. You should see it as the needed Tzedek Chalil. So let's stop. 6 questions, 6 answers. Yeah, this one went very quick, right? We did Maimorim that were shorter than this and took us 4 classes. This Maimid is long and it's pretty quick. Why? Because the material's more. We had 6 questions. What does it mean, Vihishalachti versus Vihishalachti? And the answer is that when a Yid serves Hashem in a way of halicha, which means going out of all limitations, Eibush reveals himself to him in a way of halicha. Second question, what is halicha? Beis halicha, 2 different motions, which is tefillah malmata lamayla and teira lamata. By the Eibush you also have 2 kinds of gilui from heaven to earth, and the gilui which is from earth to heaven. First did it down here, and then it goes in ilmis halyenim. And then the 3rd question and the 4th question was, what does it mean Hashem is our God? That there's such a high gilui, that the Shem Havai is like a likim, and the Havai of Asad is even higher than that. That even though Am means we're far away, we're Am Lashon Imeh, we're close to Him through Avoid. And now the last 2 questions, why do we mention Yetzias Mitzrayim? Because by Yetzias Mitzrayim, Hashem acted unilaterally and He redeemed us. Similarly, when the Eibush promises that He's going to give us certain brachas and certain mailes, and we scratch our head and say, how could you possibly earn it? The answer is, Hashem gave a koyach, that if He wants, He can give us any kind of bracha. And is that we have to be thankful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for the Dinyan Tshuva. Unbelievable. And the Rebbe finishes, Peidik Yud Vaydei, Avaydes B'nai Yisrael. So the work of the Jewish people that the service that you do for HaKadosh Baruch was 3 things. And in footnote 101, that it might suggest that the 3 are Mulmata Lamayla, Mamayla Lamata, and the Chibur Shneim. Says the Rebbe Sholish Aliyahs, 3 ascents. Like everything in Kedusha goes in the number 3. Al Derach Shekol B'nai Yisrael Nekaim B'Shem Amt Lisai, because the nation of 3 came Levei Yisrael. Shekosher Orient Lisai with the Teir of 3 that and 10 of Imiksub. V'yem Lisai the 3rd day, the 1st day of Shoshos Mi'akbala, the 2nd day Shoshos Mi'akbala, and the day of Matan Teiro. She said, "Oh, Kvishat Teir Nimshachet Zmana B'Mok." Yem Tlisai, Uben Nefesh Am Tlisai, that these two ideas of Am Tlisai and Yem Tlisai includes the three in Yanov Elam Shana Nefesh. Yem Tlisai includes Elam is one and Mokim, and Am Tlisai includes Nefesh. Says the Rebbe Zeichem will be the Beis Hamikdash Shlishi. We merit to the building of the third Beis Hamikdash Abol, Lachar Shnei Hamikdash Milufneza, which follows and doesn't only follow, but it includes the first two Batei Mikdash plus its own Maila. The first Beis Hamikdash Maila is Maila Lamat. The second Beis Hamikdash Maila is Mamat Alamaila Godel Yikov the Beis Acham Narishim Bebinyan Ubashon in Zman and Mok was on Bayesheni, and then the third Beis Hamikdash includes both plus its own Inyan. All of them are regarding the third Beis Hamikdash. It's written of the third day. We stand on our own, so to speak, because of Mamish B'Bias Mashiach Tzidkenu. To us, the Mashiach comes and the third Beis Hamikdash is built. And B'Klal is a gil of the Inyan of three. Yekui Mu Lamat Amesarat Tvachim, down here in this world will be fulfilled. Hoanyanim Kipshutim, the idea is Bepashtus. Eilech Eschem came in Miyos, that we're going to walk upright, and upright as Bailei Tshuva, that Kimei Teischam Et Mitzrayim, just like when we left Mitzrayim. Now here you have to say what the Rebbe said in Pei Ches. It was a unilateral gift from the Eibush. If the Eibush that wants, he can give a koyach for anything. And the Eibush that gave a koyach for tshuva. And also Lovi, we're going to have Kememias and the Malas at tshuva. For Lefnez, and this includes also Venasati, Gishmechem Be'itam, Hashem is going to give us rain. And the Baal Shem Tev ties it that Gishmechem doesn't only rain, it means Gashmias Bechlal, Shagashmias, Gishmechem, Neison, Satan HaKadosh Baruch Hu. All in Yonam Gashmim are included in the word Gishmechem, the Eibush that gives them. But Eif, and in such a fashion and form, Shakola, Nesim Man Yof, and Nesim one gives, they give generously. Of course, this is halacha. It's the chazak of Kol Nesim Man Yof, and Nesim when the Eibush to give, for sure he gives by in Yof. V'yiyah Be'itam. It all happens in a time, the way it's supposed to happen in time. And then ultimately, not only does Eibush to give us Gashmis, and not only do we have the Mile of Kememias, which is in Yanachuv, and not only have the Mile of Beis HaMikdash, but in this Beis HaMikdash, the presence of HaKadosh Baruch was not Vihishalachti, but Vihishalachti. That in Beis HaMikdash Shlishi, Shabayi, in the third Beis HaMikdash, the idea of Vihishalachti B'Seichem is in Beif and Yaisen Nai Lamik Vishai Lasad Lavei, Fishi Lasad Lavei, that Lasad Lavei, the Vihishalachti B'Seichem is in the Madrega of Vihishalachti B'Seichem. Not just that Hashem is present, but that Hashem is revealed on a level of Alicha because of our Alicha. And what prepares for the Giluyim of Lasad Love is Masein, of the Saint of Meshach's Managos, what we do now. We learn Torah, we do mitzvahs, and we're particular about it. We walk upright, which is the Pedish of the word came in Mias, as tzaddikim, but also as Bailei Tshuva, heim ba'aveda, heim ba'pashtus. Both in our service of Hashem we're proud, and in our personal lives we're proud. Shakadosh Baruch Hu neisen al chava amitis. Eibush gives incredible breath, and Rebbe adds, Eid b'mei golos achrein. Rebbe used to always bring the pasuk. Ulachol b'nei Yisrael haya eid b'mei shveisam, and he would explain that let's the tegan or goyim from Golos. Yidden in Golos already have a gilui alakus. Ubamei le'em demekei miskuf, and then of course the Mashiach comes already standing strong. V'gashmi es b'bon ha'chaim as ein ukulam revichi. V'helchem klab b'pnei Mashiach that came because of Mamish, was the Rebbe would say in later years, take it from a Yad Mamish. So we completed the Maimer. I hope I taught it correctly. And tomorrow we'll do the next Maimer, which is it's a relatively short Maimer, b'shah she'ekdimu.